everyone, I hope this works. I've got it literally on a chair in front of me. My name is Sarah and I am going to lead you through a sort of up to 15 minute sequence that you can do. It's more of a restorative practice using essential oils and yin or restorative yoga to help you on the first day of your cycle. Some of us can practice normal yoga postures and carry on with their normal yoga practice when they are having their menstrual cycle, but I'm quite keen when mine starts on day 1 or day 1 and 2 to really cut back a lot of my activity and just take the time to go a little bit more inward and to focus a little bit more on my body and how my body is feeling and that sort of thing. There's got some great books on sort of using sort of planning your month around your cycle, and I can always post those later if you are interested. But today, for those purposes, I'm just going to show you this sequence that I do because I think it's quite important to sometimes just slow it down. Next to me, I've got in my diffuser some great relaxing oil. I've used Console, which is the comforting blend. You can't really see that, but I'll post some links and stuff. And basically, Console is the comforting blend, so I want to feel quite comforted, quite held, quite nourished in this particular practice. So I'm using that, and this is a roller ball, so I will just roll it in my hand. You can buy it. This is diluted with fractionated coconut oil. And you've got oils in it like frankincense, patchouli, ylang ylang, labdanum, amyris, rose, sandalwood. So some quite, for me, relaxing woody oils. I really, really like those. So I'm just going to rub it in my hands and I'm just going to center myself and take a few deep inhales. Finding a comfortable seat, drawing my shoulder blades down and away from my ears or my shoulders. Really making sure that I'm breathing deeply into the belly. Making sure that I'm inhaling and focusing on all of the different scents that I can smell in the blend. What stands out, what doesn't, what is more subtle. And just take a moment to really bring your attention inward and to focus on what you would like the outcome of this practice to be. If you practice with sankalpas, then you can repeat that to yourself now 3 times, or perhaps a mantra. Or perhaps you just have a feeling that you want to evoke in this practice. Great. So you always have diffusers when you've got your hands around. So you don't always have to have a diffuser like this, though I do use mine quite a lot. Just a little bit about the oils I use. I use doTERRA essential oils. There are others out there. I use doTERRA simply because I find them to be the purest and the most, there's a lot of science behind them and why they are the purest oils that you can find. Amazing. So let's get started. So I just like to start with a little bit of a circular motion of the hips here. I think I'm sure I read that in Kundalini. This is called the Shakti grind. I could be completely wrong. But it's just really nice. So for me, I really like to get a stretch into that lower back. You can really exaggerate your movements and allow a stretch to happen into the side of the body, if you'd like. And then go the opposite way. Again, paying close attention to how your lower back feels, how the sides of the body are feeling, how the upper body is feeling. You might find that you have a bit of tightness in the mid-back, sort of the bra strap or the bra clasp area. Great, nice. Coming back to a seated position. Find your sit bones. If you don't know what those are, they're the knobbly bits in your bottom. You can wiggle a little and find them. And then we're going to take our hands onto our knees and we're just going to do some seated cat-cow again to get the spine moving. So we inhale, open up, draw the shoulder blades towards each other, arching. Exhale, pull the navel in, round. So bearing in mind that if this is the first day of your cycle, you may not want to engage the core too much. It won't engage anyway because it's too busy doing other things. Exhale, round. And again, noticing what the spine is feeling like, where you're tight. Good. And one more time. And exhale. Fantastic. Good. Just give everything a little bit of a shake. Shake, rattle, and roll, yeah? So we're going to go ahead and lie down now. Just some other things that I will tend to use in my practice. I tend to use Deep Blue. So this is the... It is an essential oil blend. It's effectively the muscle rub that we would go and buy from the local grocery store or pharmacy, whatever. But this is just made with nice natural product. This is effectively what they try to replicate in those other products. So you've got things like wintergreen, camphor. This has sweet almond oil, peppermint, eucalyptus. Again, I prefer this just because it's a rub. I use it a lot if I'm having sort of menstrual pain. I'll put it on my back and on my belly. I prefer the rub over the oil. It's all personal preference, so you choose what you would like. It is phenomenal though, it's great. And if you're going to be doing quite an upbeat practice, then something like this could really, really help if you feel a bit achy before or after your practice. Now what I'm going to use now, before we do beautiful Adho Konasana, is to take my socks off and put a little bit of balance blend. So balance is one of the mood management blends. It's called balance. It's the grounding blend. I just take a drop and pop it onto the bottoms of my feet to help me feel a bit grounded. Now this already has fractionated coconut oil in, so you are all right to put it on. You can dilute it further if you would like to. It's not a problem. I also like to just give my feet a little massage because we never do that. You'd be surprised at what the foot feels like after you've massaged it. So again, it helps me to feel balanced. It's one I use every single day. You've got spruce, hoe wood, frankincense, blue tansy, so that will give it the blue that you will see. It's got a slight blue tinge to it. What else is in here? And blue chamomile. So they are some fantastic, again, woody. I really like the woody. Ironic, considering I don't really like nature, but never mind, never mind. So again, just a little bit of a massage there. We're going to bring the soles of the feet together. If you are doing this for a long amount of time, you can always extend what we do in this practice. Optimally, you would do 1.5 minutes or longer. Yeah, so it allows the muscles, the fascia, the ligaments to really start to release and relax from 1.5 minutes onwards. So we try to do it a little bit slower. So you bring the soles of the feet together. You can have them as far away or as close in to the body as you'd like. You want to stay with the sit bones on the floor. Your knees are dropping out towards the side. If you are doing it for a long amount of time, you may want to get some pillows or blankets or bolsters to place underneath the knees. If folding forward is not appropriate for you, then you can stack a load of things behind you and just Supta Adho Konasana, so you can lie back as well and just enjoy it. So what we're going to do is we're going to bring the shoulder blades towards each other, lengthen the spine, and then we'll just slowly fold forward. Now, how far you go is up to you and how flexible you are in this area of the body. I can go all the way forward, but my sit bones then start to lift up. So it's up to you. Ideally, the sit bones would stay on the floor, but you go where you need to go. If you can get all the way to the floor, then do it. You do what's comfortable for you. And we'll just stay here for a moment. I'm going to put my timer on for 1.5 minutes. If I can find it. I should have had this ready, shouldn't I? Good. We've already done about 20 seconds. So again, you're just focusing on your releasing Yeah, so noticing what the lower back feels like. You can always come up and sort of arch the back a little if you want to get into the lower back, but make sure that you aren't putting any stress on the spine. You want to just make sure like you can move a little. Like it's whatever feels good for you. It's your practice, it's your body, you know what works. Yeah? So we'll just stay here for another sort of 30 seconds or so. Again, a minute and a half up is better, but I just want to show you a few extra postures and I'm obviously running out of time. Amazing. Good. Slowly coming back up. Nice. Bring the knees together. Just give them a bit of a windscreen wiper shake. Awesome. So you're just going to come to lie on your back now. And I just want you to lie on your back, bring your knees in and hug them in. And something again to help get into the lower back, we're just going to rotate our knees in some wide circles. So by doing that, you get a little bit of a massage into the lower back and then the other way. If you want to hold on to the legs, you can do that as well. I find that it makes me tip a little, so I almost fall over. Good. So we're just going to hold the knees in here, just pressing the upper back onto the floor. And then we're going to come into happy baby. So it's up to you. You can grab hold of the ankles, you can grab hold of the feet, you can grab hold of the toes, whatever works. Perhaps you want to grab hold of the ankles to help pull down. Ideally, knees are going into the armpits. If this isn't comfortable for you, then you can do one leg at a time. So half happy baby is absolutely fine. You can also bend the knee if you need to as well. So I'd like for you to do that. Stay in that position. I'm going to turn the timer on for about 45 seconds. And then if you are doing half, you're going to want to do half for the same amount of time. And then, so if you're doing it for 2 minutes, you'll want to do half your right leg for 1 minute and then your left leg for 1 minute. Ideally, you would do a minute and a half on either side if you're doing half. But again, you work with where you are. You work with what's right for your body. Amazing. So you've got about 15 seconds left. Working with where you are, noticing where you're releasing, where you feel the stretch. It's also quite good to have a timer when you're doing things like this. Amazing. So go ahead and hug your knees into your chest. Fabulous. So we're just going to come onto all fours now and do some cat-cow. So you want to make sure that your hands are nice and spread, grounding into the floor. Your shoulders are above your wrist. Your belly's pulling in ever so slightly so that your spine is lengthening, yeah? Shoulders. Your knees are directly below your hips. So you're just going to inhale, arch, exhale, round. So again, you normally would round by engaging the core. You may notice that that's not really happening today, and that's absolutely fine. Amazing. One more time. Brilliant. Now you can carry on and do things like forward fold, so stretching the legs out, forward folding. You can do downward dog. You could do things like, what's the other thing? So you could lie down and lift the leg up, so Padangusthasana, but on the Supta Padangusthasana. So that sort of thing. I would also encourage you to just take a rest. So whether you've got an eye mask, I've got an eye mask somewhere, whether you have an eye mask, just take a few moments to relax in to your Shavasana. And as I wake up, I always like to have an essential oil around. Depending on the session, it can be something along the lines of peppermint or citrus bliss or elevation. So again, beautiful blends that doTERRA have made, created, crafted. They're bespoke to them. Today, I've just got a bit of balance still on my hand. And clary sage. Clary sage is the oil of clarity and vision. It's also an oil that supports women and supports our menstrual health and our health. So I always just like to rub some on my hands, take a few deep inhales. The balance will help me to feel grounded today. The clearing sage will allow me clarity and vision. I'd like to thank you for practicing with me today. Namaste.